What are you looking at?
The Stonewall is a gay tavern in New York City. In the year 1969, the first gay retaliation started. Prior to the 1970s, there were restrictive laws against gays and lesbians. For example, if the police raided a club and found a man that was not wearing 3 or more pieces of masculine clothing, he was arrested. William Estridge Jr., professor at Yale School of Law, stated the 1960s were dark ages for lesbian and gay men all over America. In the years between 1965 and 1969, there was a dramatic increase in the amount of arrests for breaking gay and lesbian laws. During that time, the government did not only control the streets, but also the schools by showing students anti-gay propaganda short films.
Sure enough, the following day when Jimmy finished playing ball, well, the man was there waiting. Jimmy hadn't enjoyed himself so much in a long time. Then during lunch, Ralph showed him some pornographic pictures. Jimmy knew he shouldn't be interested, but, well, he was curious. What Jimmy didn't know was that Ralph was sick, a sickness that was not visible like smallpox, but no less dangerous and contagious, a sickness of the mind. You see, Ralph was a homosexual. One never knows when the homosexual is about. He may appear normal, and it may be too late when you discover he is mentally ill.
The average homosexual, if there be such, is promiscuous. He is not interested in nor capable of a lasting relationship like that of a heterosexual marriage. Dr. Charles Socarides is a New York psychoanalyst at the Albert Einstein School of Medicine. They are taught that no man is born homosexual. And many psychiatrists now believe that homosexuality begins to form in the first 3 years of life.
Homosexuality is, in fact, a mental illness which has reached epidemiological proportions.
A Atascadero State Mental Institution was known as Dachau for homosexuals. The institution was a chamber of horrors for gays and lesbians because of its gorish arrays of treatments such as lobotomies, castrations, and administering a drug to patients that gave them a sense of drowning, which was basically like waterboarding. Many patients lost the ability to speak, walk, or talk on their own, turning into vegetables. The Stonewall was a safe haven for lesbians and gays from the rest of the world, where no one could discriminate, where they could be themselves. It was a place that gave them light into their lives, where they could dance together, drink together, and just have fun. The Mafia owned and operated many gay bars and taverns, including the Stonewall Inn. At that time, it was illegal to serve alcohol to gays and lesbians. The Mafia paid off the police to turn a blind eye on these taverns, while they made a huge profit serving watered-down drinks. It had gone on like that for years, with the Mafia controlling the gay bars. But times started to change when John Lindsay ran for re-election as mayor of New York. His campaign strategy was to clean up the streets, specifically the Village, where Stonewall and many other gay bars call home. He put 6,000 more police officers on the force. That's when situations started to get intense between the gays and the government. On the evening of June 28, 1969, Stonewall was as busy as it ever was. Then, unexpectedly, the police raided the tavern. The police usually left the tavern alone because they were paid off by the Mafia. This night, they forced people out of the bar and into police vehicles. Passers-by began to take notice. The patrons of the Stonewall Inn began resisting the police, and passers-by soon joined in, creating a riot. It turned to total chaos. There were people coming from all directions, some even setting fires to trash cans and throwing them into the crowd. Then the police threw back smoke bombs. It was even reported that some drag queens stood up in front of the police and started a kick line singing, "We are the village girls, we wear our hairs in curls, we wear our dungarees above our Nelly knees." The police were overwhelmed. The crowd started to march against the police. The crowd had control of the area surrounding Stonewall. The rioters had gone all the way through 7th Avenue, then through 10th, and back around Christopher, pushing the police into the center. More police officers were called for backup. Shortly afterward, the police took control of the situation, and then the riot came to an end. When morning came, it brought light to how serious last night's riots really were. There was much destruction, but from that came hope. This was one of the first times that the oppression of gays was on national news, for everyone to see and hear. The rioters that fought for this news could not let it fade. They had to make sure their voice was heard. Martha Shelley, along with Harry Hay and the Mattachine Society, which was the first homosexual organization in the United States, decided to start a protest march exactly 1 year after the Stonewall Riot. On June 28, 1970, around 120 people assembled on Christopher Street for the march. It was still very risky at that time for gays and lesbians to come out in the open. It was reported that the march had multiple threats, including bombs and guns. But none of those threats followed through. Instead, more and more people decided to join the march. By the end, it had reached over 3,000 people. Gays and lesbians finally had a voice in the world. This march started the Gay Pride Parade, which still goes on today all around the world. Now people are more accepting. 17 states have legalized gay marriage, along with 19 countries. The countries in dark blue are the ones who have legalized it. Even though there are still some countries where being gay and lesbian is still illegal, such as Russia, Malaysia, and many other countries in Africa. Gay rights has moved so far and will continue to, thanks to the people who fought for what was right at Stonewall in 1969.